Hey, what's going on everyone? This is Mike Kollin at crackedfemalecode.com. Alright, so today I'm just going to do my best to make a shorter video. A lot of stuff that I teach is very in-depth, so the learning and the understanding of it does take time, but once you understand what it is and then understand how to do it, it becomes very simple. So that's the challenge, is taking the time to learn in depth what's going on between men and women, because here's why. The male brain, as I've said in my other videos, is wired in the opposite direction for romance, love, and seduction, and communication. We are speaking two different languages that literally physically go in two different directions. Alright, so right off the bat I'm going to give you this. So the male energy, now when I say male energy, I'm talking Western science, and here's a good example, electricity. I learned this in 9th grade science class. It was an it was like an electrician class. In fact, the teacher was my friend's father. He was the local town electrician in Napa Valley, in the city of Napa, California. So here's the thing I'm going to ask you guys to do. Try to open your mind a little bit. See, people will use words like energy, and you're going, oh God, that's that metaphysical bullshit. Because here's why. Because it's right brain languaging. But when we talk about energy, it's not just the right brain. We're talking about electricity. We're talking about physics. We're talking about atoms and electrons. And yes, if you understand this, it will get you laid. Married men, this is the only course that will save your marriage. When you take the course, you will clearly see why, and you'll clearly see what all the experts, and I mean all the experts, are missing. Alright, let me throw this in here first. So, we live in what's called the Western society, okay? At least for those of you who are listening to this channel that actually do. We are egotisticals, I like to call them. Is we like to think that, oh, we have just the most advanced psychology teachings and understandings on the planet. It's like, no, we don't. Western psychology is only, I think, it's either 300 years old or it's 500 years old. Eastern psychology, Eastern therapy is 5,000 years old. The New Age therapy is Western psychology. The old is the Eastern. It's been around literally for thousands and thousands of years. They are so much better at healing people and teaching things that are right in front of your face, but you just don't see. And that's what I'm going to teach you. Alright, so let's go back to 9th grade Mr. Gallagher's class. Kevin Gallagher's father. That was a good friend of mine from high school. Alright, so here's one of the first things you're going to learn about science. In fact, you should have learned it literally probably the first week or the second week of science class, or electrician class. I don't remember what the class was called, but anyways, we'll leave it at that. Alright, so one thing you learn is when you look at a cord that you plug into the wall, there's a male and there's a female receptor. Just like there's a male penis and then there's a female vagina, which is the receiver or the receptor. Now, he then went on to say, he goes, take that wire in your hand, because we all had like a cord and a plug-in thing, and he goes, take that wire in your head and look at it. Have you noticed there's two wires? And we're like, yeah, okay. He goes, one wire has the electricity that's called the male electricity. He goes, that's the push energy. That's the electricity that comes from the electric factory. That in California we call it PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric. And it pushes the energy through the wires from the factory and into your home and into the light bulb or into your stove or refrigerator or whatever. We're like, okay. Here's, now look at the other wire. We're like, okay. Now that wire is the returning wire. I'm like, okay. And that is literally the returning or receiving energy. That is the female electricity, or as he didn't use that word, he used the word energy. That's the female energy. Now he said if there's any break in this energy, it will block and stop the energy. Such as if you turn the light switch off. That will stop the energy and it will block it. Oh, by the way, this is me a long time ago purposely doing a cocky, arrogant picture. Had my $5,000 ketone jacket on and my $600 dress shirt. I was actually down in Nordstrom's in San Francisco getting fitted for a dress jacket. And yeah, I was feeling kind of cocky. Which is what you don't want to do when it comes to women. When you're cocky, it puts you in the linear, logical, male, electricity, external push energy. This literally, physically, neurologically turns a woman off because it's like flipping that light switch off and you just disconnected her from her mating system. This is what men do all the time because we're left brain, we're logical, we're push energy, and this is what we think is normal and this is what we like. So she must too. No, not if you want to have sex with her. So what I have to do when you come in and take the course is every day I'm going to be conditioning into you by being in the right frame of mind or state of mind, technically by being in the right side of my brain, in order to allow your brain and your literally electrical energy system to catch on and go, oh, he's over there. You're not going to be conscious of this until I actually show you and physically teach you how to do it over and over and over until one day you pop open, you're like, oh, this. I'm like, yes. Now do you understand why this will make a woman a lot more comfortable and want to hug you, cuddle with you, and make love to you? Alright, so let's look at this chart one more time. I'm going to go very brief. Look at the right one, the pink one. That's the female, okay? So number one is women need to connect mentally, as I've gone in depth in the other video. I'm not going to go in depth in this video. So number one, she has to connect with you mentally first. And then number two, she has to connect emotionally. These are two different languages within our left and right brain. So I'm going to teach you how to shift over to the right brain language, which is called the internal language, just like the female energy. So in the electricity class, he said the female energy is the returning energy that goes back to the PG&E or the, depending on what state you're in, the electric company, okay? Male energy is the energy created at the electric factory. It's pushed through the wires. It's pushed into your home, into your light bulb, and then it goes around to the other side and it has the receiving energy, okay? So here's the deal. Her energy is the internal energy. Yours is the external energy. The problem is if you use the external energy first, you will literally, physically, neurologically turn her off by literally, like think of the nerves as electric wires. You literally disconnect her from the wire that connects to her mating system. When you do that, it sexually turns a woman off. Don't do that. Alright, so I'm going to give you some techniques or an idea of how to do it before we finish the video. So she needs to connect mentally with something called mentally stimulating communication. Now, I'm going to make a video and give you an idea of what that is because it's not easy to teach through a video, but I'll give you some pieces of it. So next thing, you have to shift over to your internal right brain emotional system and then communicate her from heart to heart. So look at number two. So your number two has to connect to her number two through this hidden way, this hidden language. And it is a hidden language. And there are hidden patterns that women use all the time, but the male brain was not designed to pick up on it. So men don't do this at all. Across the board, period, end of sentence. So then she will drop down and connect with you sexually from her 3 to your 1. Now, when it's done this way, she gets mental and emotional mental stimulation and emotional fulfillment. Men do it the other way around. The way you get emotional fulfilling, in other words, you feel that love in your heart. After you have that orgasm and you just feel content, you feel relaxed, and you just want to fall asleep and cuddle. Well, here's the deal. She wants that too, but she can't go from groin to heart. She can't go from number 3 to number 2. She can't go from the physical up, from the bottom up to the middle in the emotional area. She can't do that. It's not she's not neurologically wired that way. Like your car is not electrically wired backwards. It has to go the way it was wired. So here's the deal, guys. The key to a woman is her ears. There's a form of hidden communication that triggers her mating system. It's the right brain language, okay? The left brain logical male language turns a woman off. So being logical, trying to impress her with how much you bench, how much money you got, how, impressing her. Look at this. The word impress is a push word. Push energy literally disconnects her from her mating system. So any of that stuff where you try to impress a woman, Wrong. It does not work. Alright, so let me wrap this part up with this. So number one, when you connect with her, look at the arrow. So here's the male symbol. Look at the male symbol. See how the arrow goes off to the right? That's because this symbol actually has meaning. That's because the male energy goes from his forehead out, and women don't like that. You've got to learn how to be internal, because then she can drop down inside. Now watch this. The male energy wants to go from his forehead out. But here's the deal. If you learn how to be internal, so imagine you're in the blue, the left side, your awareness drops down into your heart and drops down into your groin. I'll teach you how to do that very effectively. When you learn how to do that, here's what happens. Her nervous system goes, oh, and she drops down inside. If you go from your forehead out, she goes from her forehead out, and she will never get turned on because she has to go forehead down to her heart and then down to her groin. If you're not doing that, she won't do it. This is how you lead a woman. And this is what women want from men. Women always say, we're looking for a leader. We're looking for a leader. And you're thinking, oh, I'm going to left brain logically dominate other men. No, that's not what she means. She means to drop down inside, to lead her down inside. Again, her system is the internal system. This is how she can connect to her mating system internally. Now watch this. When you do it in this direction, she gets all her 1, 2, and 3 lit up, meaning fulfilled. And then now when you have an orgasm, it automatically fulfills you emotionally and goes up to mentally. So now it creates this energy that's flowing down through her, up from the groin, up through you, up to you, down through her. And now it continues this cycle and it begins to build energy. When men connect with a woman first sexually and don't give her emotional fulfillment, it just drains the relationship. And over a period of time, she is going to be extremely pissed and be very vengeful. Women get very mad because she can see after you have an orgasm that you get your contentment, that you get your emotional fulfillment. Well, she wants that same thing too. So men, again, you get it through physical sex. After you have an orgasm, that chemical oxytocin is released into your bloodstream and you just freaking relax. Well, she needs it done through communication. She can't do it just physically. This is why women will say that sex alone is meaningless. She needs it to be emotionally fulfilling because that is meaningful. That meaningfulness is the same feeling you get after having an orgasm. So after you have an orgasm, it feels really good. She wants that same feeling, but she can't get it the male way. Imagine being married 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, and never getting that satisfaction, that emotionally fulfilling contentment where you can just relax and all your worries go away after you have an orgasm. Imagine being married to the most beautiful woman in the world, and she's perfect, she's beautiful, she cooks, cleans, massages you, and she sleeps in bed with you every night, but has zero sex with you. No sex at all for 10 fucking years. Would you really be happy? No, you would get frustrated as fuck, and you would get pissed the fuck off. Now do you understand, women? Alright, so I'm going to give you a couple tips right now. A lot of this stuff I learned the basics through NLP and hypnosis, but then I learned something through Buddha-Calm a long time ago. That was about 18 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. So let's get right to it. Let me get right to some techniques that you can do. Number 1, the male energy wants to lean forward. Do not lean forward. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. It is a sexual turn off. It forces her into her forehead, which means you pushed her over to her left brain. Her mating system is connected to her right brain. We don't want her going to the left brain. Another thing the male energy does is it brings you're really focused on your eyes, and it's this push energy. Most men don't even realize you're doing it until there's a technique that I'll do with you, and it pulls you back, and you're like, oh my God, I've got all this pressure in my eyes. You've had pressure in your eyes for so fucking long. You've probably had forehead headaches and didn't even realize what was causing it. You were, because your awareness is just jammed up into your forehead. And this is why you don't get what you want out of life. This is why people don't want to talk to you. Women hate it. Now here's another thing you're doing. Your pupils get small and they pull together like the two of them are aiming at a target. So it's like two laser beams coming from both eyes, pinpointing on the bullseye. This is a turn off. The way you change this is by going to peripheral vision with dropping your awareness down inside your body. I know you're like, what do you mean dropping your awareness? It's this easy. Before I mentioned it, you didn't notice the back of your left elbow until right now when I said it. It's that easy. So all I'm asking you to do is drop your awareness down inside your gut, inside your belly, and expand it to about the size of a, I don't know, like a small ball, bigger than a softball. So I know you're going, okay, this is that weird stuff. No, it's only weird because this is the internal stuff inside your body. Men don't do that. Men are all about the external world, grabbing a bolt, grabbing a wrench, grabbing a diamond ring. It's physical, it's outside, and going outside turns a woman off. Because now she's got to switch over to her left logical brain, which is the external brain. And remember, her nerve from her mating system curves off to her right brain's communication center. So that's the internal system. If you use the external system, you just turned her off. What we want to do is turn her on by being internal, which opens you up to your right brain, which will then and thus open her up to her right brain. And now, Houston, we've got liftoff. All right, so a little bit more science, okay? So you know how in science class, when you learn about electricity, you've got the male prong, the female prong, which returns the energy, and also the when you plug it into the wall in the outlet, that's actually the receiving. So that would be equivalent to the vagina. So anything that penetrates is the penis, anything that receives is the vagina, okay? So here's another thing about those prongs. There's a third prong on that electrical wire, and the third one is for the grounding wire. Now, if you know basic science, basic electricity stuff, I'm sorry, I'm not using the right words for that. If you know the basics about electricity, you know that you have to have a male and female wire, and you also have to have a grounding wire. Why is that? If you don't have a grounding wire, if your car is grounded too, by the way, it literally physically has a physical wire that grounds the car to the frame, which connects to the rubber tires, etc., which grounds the electricity. If you have this grounding wire, so your house, believe it or not, but your house will have a grounding wire, or the apartment building that you live in or whatever, that goes into the ground, literally. If you go to some of the light bulbs, it's not light poles, electricity poles on the streets. Not every single one of them have them, but there's one that by the church where I go for walks by, and it has this wire coming down, and I don't know how many poles is, every 6 or every whatever, but there's a wire that comes down the side of the pole that goes into the earth. Now, some kids had pulled the wire out, which is not very smart, but there's a grounding wire. It just goes all the way down into the earth. Why? When you ground the electricity, it allows the electricity to flow. If you don't have it, the electricity will spark. It can cause fires. It can cause backup pressure build. It can cause electrical explosions, and on and on and on. And that's what a woman is looking for in a man, to see if he is what's called emotionally grounded. The male energy is not emotionally grounded. The modern Western male is completely disconnected from this being grounded. Now, a long time ago, you had to be grounded. Now, some men, physical labor men, guys that lift weights and are physical, it brings your awareness into your body, okay? So if you get a massage, let's say on your feet, where does your awareness go? It goes into your body. So you have to go through your body into your feet. You're getting your legs massaged, your calves, your hamstrings, whatever. You go into your body, even your back, your feet, your hands, your arms. This is the technique that can help you to be grounded. Another technique is also dropping your awareness down inside your body. Now, I know that sounds easy to do, but when you come in and take the course, I will show you the master way to get really, really good at it. And yes, this is one of the techniques you're going to have to practice in order to master the art of seducing women and attracting women. So let's talk about attracting women. If your energy is grounded, women will be drawn to you because physically by touching you, it'll ground her. Once again, if you know the basics of Western science, human beings, your heart, your brain, your muscles, your nerves all function off of actual, real electricity. If you don't believe me, go talk to your doctor. Go to a college and talk to someone who's in that field. Women say it all the time, but what do men do? Oh, that's airy-fairy stuff. All it is it's a right brain language. It's right brain experience and processing. It's the difference between the Apple computer is the right brain. The IBM computer is the linear, external, logical processor, like the male brain. And yes, they are two different languages. Most men have no idea this, where women are very aware of it. Alright, so this is me with Buddha Chandi, Buddha Mai, and I forget the other Buddha's name. I don't have any pictures of me with Buddha Calm, sadly. I don't know what I was thinking, but that was back before cell phones and all that stuff. That was a long time ago. Buddha Calm was the one who would open me up. Now in the beginning, he would just do it to help me relax, because I was always stressed, and pretty stressed actually. So he would do it, and boom, I would open up. So I used to go with my girlfriend at the time. She was Laotian. That's how I found these monks. These are Laotian monks from Laos, next to Thailand, next to Vietnam. She would go with me, and man, did we get along every time we left. And all I knew was like, man, let's keep going back. So we would go back there 2-3 times a week. And about the 4th or 5th time on the way home, because it was about a 45-minute drive away, we would pull over to a restaurant, you know. One time it was just a McDonald's. And we walked in, and everybody just stopped, and everyone turned and stared at us. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I asked my girlfriend, I go, is it just me, or is it every time we go to a restaurant, like literally everyone like stops dead and they stare at us and they smile? It's like there's this peace that overcame the room. And she goes, yeah, I've noticed every time we leave Buddha Calm, we have this energy, this peacefulness, and when we go out into it, you know, in public. She goes, I notice even when you drop me off at home, my family suddenly just calms down. So I was hooked. I was like, because you feel this unbelievable feeling that is so calm. And I've got a video with a Benev talking about this, because I did this with him. I don't think he explained it very well. He gave it a shot, but you can't explain it. It's something you have to feel. You just feel relaxed. And the really interesting thing is women will walk up to you. People will walk up to you, and they'll just like start conversations. They don't even know why. They just want to talk to you. And thus, the Love Doctor began. I knew I was onto something that was radically different than anything else that was out there. This energy, this way of being, it's like, okay, so here's the deal. The male energy is closed. It's like you got a big iron door that you're just pulling closed. And now here's the deal. Here's the trick. It feels powerful, but it's not, because it's the equivalent of putting the brakes on, taking your foot off the gas and putting your foot on the brakes. And you're wondering, I don't understand. Why can't I get anywhere in life? Why can't I meet women? Why am I not making more money? Why are things so hard? Because you got the fucking brakes on. But the challenge is the male energy likes that feeling of feeling powerful. But the problem is that feeling is a trick. It's tricking you not to go where you want. So when I teach you how to open up, how to drop back inside, which I'm going to explain that a little more, is all of a sudden you're taking the brake off, and now your car, even if you don't touch the gas pedal, now it can roll forward on a slightly downhill road. In other words, now you can move, and you can move towards your goals and get things done. And this is why the female mating system is hardwired to her right brain, because the right brain is the open system. And this is how men become successful. Otherwise, you're going to be a ditch digger and a follower for the rest of your life. And yes, you can learn how to do this. This is what I specialize in. Alright, so the technique that Buddha Calm taught me, I will condition this into you over and over. It's not something I can make a quick video on. It's just not possible. It's an energy thing. It's a shift in energy where both your energy, male and female energy, flows, and you are electrically grounded. One of the things you're going to learn in my course is you're going to all of a sudden go, man, that makes a lot of sense. Because you've heard a lot of these words like I'm looking for a man who's open. I'm looking for a man who's emotionally open or emotionally available. I'm looking for a man who's grounded. And you're just going, what the fuck are they talking about? In fact, you probably didn't even say, you're just like, wow, they're just weird. Those women are just weird. No, they're actually saying stuff. The problem is the left brain cannot understand it because it doesn't process in a way that they can understand those words or experiences, because these are physical experiences. Your right brain, remember, is connected to the 5 senses: see, hear, feel, smell, and taste. Your right brain, the nerves drop down into your body, into your muscles, and they're connected to your feelings and your movement and all that stuff. Your left brain's connected to your forehead. It's disconnected. It's dissociated. Dissociated women don't like that. Gives her an empty feeling and she will run. Alright, so let's just get right to the techniques. I'm going to give you some basics. These are only basics. I might do another video on this about how Roger screwed this up, even though I taught him what to do. Roger's a different client. So the number one thing you want to do is you want to either stand neutral or slightly lean back. I don't know if I would do that. So let's give you an example. So let's say you're at the grocery store, Whole Foods, and you walk up to the counter, you load your groceries up. What most men do, and I've actually videotaped my clients because they'll later go, oh, I don't do that. And I'm like, oh, here you are. And they're like, oh, I do that all the time. I'm like, yeah, you do it all the time. So here's what you do. You don't want to lean over the counter. You don't even want to lean forward. Even at the bank, you don't even want to lean forward 1 inch. I'm not kidding. What you want to do is take one of your feet and step back about a half step, about a half step, quarter step. And then what you want to do is you want to pull your body back a few inches where you're neutral. That's how you want to be. You want to physically pull back a little bit because you give her space. One thing what most guys do is they crowd women. Don't crowd her. If you notice that you're too close, take a step back and just step back. What a lot of women will do then, they will literally take a step forward. It's the most amazing thing. The first time you have the experience where you step back and then lean back, and then what you do is you drop your awareness down inside your body. You do those 3 things, her eyes should dilate, the pupils will open up. Now here's the thing though, your pupils have to be dilated. If you do the internal awareness stuff correctly, it will, but again, that's something I actually haven't taught you, and it's not something I can do through a video. So if you do the internal awareness fully and completely, and you're using your body language correctly, all of a sudden she's going to literally either lean forward or step forward. Some women will reach out and grab your arm. And guess where all of this comes from? That's right, the caveman era. Our mating systems, our instinctual reptilian brain, which is the lower brain underneath the left and right brain, was developed during the caveman era. So now watch this. If you're trying to pick up on a woman, game over, you already blew it. Because women were designed to chase you. Now, remember, back in the caveman era, there was no police, there was no laws, there was no rules, there was no judges, there was no nothing. You came and went as you pleased, you took what you wanted, and you did what you wanted. The caveman was easily 5 times more powerful and stronger and faster than a woman. He did whatever he wanted. Now here's the thing that most men don't understand. When you do what you want, you're in your right brain. The left brain is the external brain. It's the follower brain. It also processes through rules, structure, and organization, meaning you are listening to someone else's rules, and because you're external, looking at, okay, what are the rules, which means you're not a self-led man. You're not thinking for yourself, and this turns a woman's mating system off. This is why left brain logical males turn women off. The right brain, believe it or not, but it is the selfish brain. What's your typical experience with women? They think of themselves a lot. Now here's the really weird thing. Here's how you flip the tables. Turn this 180 degrees. You learn how to be internal and follow your own lead by listening to yourself. Literally, start thinking about yourself. Start putting yourself first. But if you do it logically, because here's the steps that Mike taught me. Remember, the left brain is about steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3. It's about looking for rules, looking for structure, looking for, hey, teach me a line, teach me an opener. I will never ever teach you a line. I will never teach you an opener, because that means you're in your left brain. And this is why the pickup artist courses don't work, because you're chasing women. Here's another one. Here's another pickup artist, absolute, total, complete, 100%, 180-degree blunder. You got a 3 second, it's either a 3 second rule or 5 second rule, I forgot. When you see a girl that you like at a club or at a bar or at a coffee shop, you've got 3 seconds, you got to approach her immediately. Why? Because it's your way to overcome your fear, which actually causes more anxiety and more fear. And what are you doing? You're chasing her. Now watch this. This is hardwired into her DNA, everything I've been saying. So imagine a caveman. Look at this caveman right here. What is he doing? He's hungry. He's looking literally across the tundra. What does he see? Oh my. What does he see? Oh my. He sees a deer. It looks very delicious. He's very hungry. He's very fast. He's very powerful. So what does he do? Boom. Off he goes. And he goes and gets the deer for freaking lunch or dinner. Is he looking around at his cave woman and going, "Sweetie, I'm hungry. Is it okay if I go to McDonald's to get some food? Because I'm hungry."
"No, you can't go."
Cavemen don't do that. And this is a major turn off for women. They're looking for a self-led man. If she can become the leader, it's a turn off. She'll tell you what to do. She'll yell. She'll scream. She's basically sick and tired of it. And she's pissed off, because that's not what turns her on. That turns her off. Understand, if she was smart, it would behoove her to follow the caveman, because the caveman's going to provide and protect, because he is going to get so much food. He'll always have extra meat left over, and she can eat aplenty. I am telling you beyond a shadow of a doubt, cave women would never have survived if it wasn't for cavemen. It wouldn't have been possible, especially back then. But Mike, we live in the modern world where women can make money. Yeah, I know. I not only do I agree, I support that. Absolutely. Going to college, becoming doctors, actresses, billionaires. I support that. But they still will never be turned on by a man, even if he's a billionaire, multi-billionaire. If he's listening to her, if he's following her, he has to be a right brain internal male. Because whether you like it, whether she likes it, her mating system is hardwired to be drawn, attracted to, and wanting to make love with a male like this, and want to mate with him and recreate children. The other males, even if they're billionaires, she's not in love. Now, she wants the money. She'll take the money, but you're not satisfying her. Here's the good news. You can be dirt poor, you can be broke, you can be short, you can be small, you can be weak, and you can get the hottest chick in the room if you understand how to do this. It's not an act. It's not a series of steps that you follow. It's learning how to open up. Again, how many times have you heard women, "I'm looking for a man who's open emotionally"? This is what she's talking about, because it turns her on sexually. This is the most powerful form of love a woman will ever receive from a man. If you don't do this, she's going to leave you either physically, sexually, emotionally, or she will divorce you and be gone. Remember, click subscribe, click the like button, and buy my book, Crack the Female Code, and get started now.